Aloha, it's Kiana, and here are today's top Hawaii headlines from the editors at the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Also, mahalo to Longs Drugs Hawaii for sponsoring the show. Head on over to your neighborhood Longs Drugs for all your shopping needs. Russia is ratcheting up tensions with the West as the war in Ukraine drags on. During a State of the Nation address today, Russian President Vladimir Putin said Moscow is suspending participation in the New START treaty. Signed in 2010 by the U.S. and Russia, the Nuclear Arms Control Pact puts a cap on the number of long-range nuclear warheads either side can deploy. It also limits the use of missiles that can carry atomic weapons. Putin blamed Ukraine for starting the war and accused the West of targeting Russian culture, religion, and values. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden, in his own speech, said the United States and its allies would, quote, have Ukraine's back as the war enters its second year. Biden spoke from Poland one day after an unannounced trip to Kyiv, where he met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is taking charge of the cleanup of a train derailment in Ohio that prompted environmental and health concerns. On February 3rd, a Norfolk Southern freight train carrying hazardous materials derailed in East Palestine, a small village near the Pennsylvania state line. Officials chose to release and burn toxic vinyl chloride from 5 rail cars to avoid a potential explosion. Some residents have reported health problems since the wreck. The EPA today ordered Norfolk Southern to pay for the cleanup and reimburse the federal government for a new program that will provide cleaning services to residents and businesses. Separately, state officials in Ohio and Pennsylvania have launched investigations into Norfolk Southern. A special grand jury that investigated election interference by former President Donald Trump and his allies in Georgia has recommended multiple indictments. Most of the jury's report remains sealed, but forewoman Emily Kors said the list is not short. She did not discuss who was recommended for indictment in an interview today. Kors also declined to give a direct answer when asked if jurors had recommended indicting Trump. She said people won't be too surprised with the decision. The investigation in Atlanta is viewed as one of the biggest legal threats to Trump as he begins another run for the presidency. A key piece of evidence in the inquiry is a call that Trump made to Brad Raffensperger on January 2, 2021. In the call, Trump pressed the Georgia Secretary of State to recalculate voting results and find 11,780 votes, which would have been enough to overturn his loss to Joe Biden in the state. A 32-year-old man has been arrested after the alleged assault of a 64-year-old man in Kapolei. Honolulu police said the assault occurred in the 700 block of Haumea Street just after 7:15 Monday morning. The victim sustained a laceration to his neck after being assaulted with a dangerous instrument. He was taken to a hospital in stable condition. The suspect was located about a half hour later in the area of Kamokila Boulevard and Now Place. Officers arrested him on suspicion of first-degree assault. Police said the suspect and victim did not know each other prior to the incident. Stocks tumbled to their worst day in 2 months today as concerns about higher interest rates put a squeeze on the market. The S&P 500 fell 2% for its sharpest drop since the market was selling off in December. The Dow Jones Industrial Average ended down 2.1%, while the NASDAQ Composite sank 2.5%. Yields shot higher this month as Wall Street tries to forecast how high the Federal Reserve will take short-term interest rates in its efforts to tame inflation. The 10-year Treasury jumped from 3.82% Friday to 3.95% today, while the 2-year yield rose from 4.62% to 4.73%. Recent reports show the economy remains stronger than expected, reducing fears of a recession. However, the reports could put upward pressure on inflation and give the Fed more reason to keep rates higher for longer. The Fed's key overnight rates is in the range of 4.50% to 4.75%, up from about 0 at the start of last year. For more on these stories and all the latest headlines, subscribe to the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Visit Hawaii's top source for breaking news online at staradvertiser.com and download the Star-Advertiser mobile app. Mahalo, have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.